So, in the Morgan Grier Tarot deck, what I will say is that you can notice the Leo themes through the colors. These are fire sign colors. These are not necessarily the colors that represent Taurus. However, they are also colors that represent the fiery nature of Venus. So you can also see the crescent moon here at the neck, which is the exaltation of the moon in Taurus, or being in Taurus. I will also say that the pride of the Hierophant could also be seen as a Leo theme, all right? Because this is a religious figure, essentially, and if you know anything about religious figures, they present themselves with a lot of pride, a lot of the time. Sometimes humility, but traditionally, the pride is evident, especially being backed by the conviction of the belief of whatever religion is being represented, right? And in the High Council Oracle and Tarot deck, you can see that there is a lion on the Hierophant card. This is a very clear Leo theme, or especially with Yehuda governing the spirit, okay? And the spirit being governed by the element of fire. So I feel like that's very obvious in this Hierophant card. There are also other colors here that back up the Tauran themes, in my opinion, and the Venusian themes with the green that you can see in this card. And what's written on the front of this particular card is unconventionality, education, conformity, rebellion, which rebellion and unconventionality I would assign to the reverse meaning, because the Hierophant is usually about tradition. And then the new method. And it also has beliefs and conformity, which would be a part of the upright position of the Hierophant too. I do want to say that now that I read this out loud, I wouldn't be surprised if upright and reversed are the representations of each sign, being that upright represents more of those Taurus themes, and then the reverse presenting more of those Leo themes, which would be themes surrounding creativity in the 5th house about nonconformity and expression and authenticity that's not necessarily always tied to tradition. You know what I mean? All right. Now we are at the Lovers. This is the 6th card in the major arcana, and the number 6 is tied to Virgo. And it's represented by the other sign that is ruled by Mercury, which is Gemini. So we have in the Morgan Grier deck, we have 2 lovers. I don't know if they're gonna let me show homegirl. Let me see if I can cover her up the right way before I put her on camera. But this is the lovers in the Morgan Grier Tarot deck. They are surrounded by lilies, which is associated with part of the season of Gemini, which is in the spring. You can see all this beautiful greenery here, which has to do with love. Green is a color of the heart and loving nature. So you can see the warmth and the nurturing in this card. The Lovers is also representative of the masculine nature and the feminine nature working in harmony together in order to make higher levels of decisions that are heart-centered decisions, you could say, versus just decisions made out of, you know, lust and survival, essentially. With 6 being the number of Virgo, I would just say that definitely the themes of being in nature and submerged, surrounded by the earth is a symbol of Virgo. Virgo is also a sign who starts the underworld signs, because Virgo holds the harvest, or has the harvest, right? And is bringing, when they say like Virgo is associated with the details, Virgo is bringing you the list. It's doing the checkoff. It's saying, okay, here are the supplies. Here is what has grown. Now it's time to be assessed, because we know Libra follows Virgo. So before everything is weighed out and balanced on the scales, it is brought to the forefront to see like what works have produced what fruits, essentially. So the Lovers does carry that, I do feel, because it's speaking to what is coming together from our masculine and feminine nature. What's being merged? What are we merging here from both aspects of ourselves, from our conscious and our subconscious, from our contemplation and stillness versus the actions that we've taken. And in the High Council and Oracle Tarot deck, we have the bull on the shoulders of a woman here, and it is a very beautiful image, okay? And I feel like, to me, and I could be wrong, so please consider that I could be wrong. We going off the dome, and I'm just looking at what's in front of me. It also reminds me, in a way, of Baffindia and Baphomet, in the way that the governess teaches this information in this imagery, although they do have their own oracle card, okay? So go to her website, look at the video where she's breaking down her cards, okay, for clarity on that. I will say that this also shows that with the bull on her shoulders, that the feminine nature is uplifting what is being represented as the masculine nature here, and I love that about this image. Also, you can also see you know, that there are colors here, in my opinion, that do represent Mercury and Gemini. I feel like there's green in both cards that kind of speak to that Virgo aspect too, and yellow is also associated with the air, which makes me think about Gemini. And on this card, it has written career choices, inner and outer conflict, support of relationships, which is a major theme of the Lovers too. It can also speak to romantic relationships, imbalance in relationships, that would be the reverse meaning, of course, trust and unity. So yeah, these are, I feel like that's the fullness of those things. The Lovers can also come up too when you need to bring those energies together. So if like if you feel kind of split or feel like you're having trouble making a certain decision, the Lovers can also show up in the spread. So, you know, it depends. It always depends. The next card we have for the number 7, which is Cancer. Not Cancer, but which is what do you call? Libra is the 7th side of the zodiac, excuse me, y'all. With the number 7, but the Chariot is associated with Cancer and the heart. So it is represented by 2 horses pulling a chariot. Sometimes I've also seen 2 phoenixes pulling a chariot with the Chariot card. There's usually a male figure seated holding each horse. Sometimes the horses are facing 2 separate directions. The horses also are representative of the unconscious and the conscious mind, especially with them being black and white horses when you see them that way. But there are I'm just gonna speak to the Cancerian and Libra themes of the card, because even though on the Morgan Grier image we still have 3 crescent moons, I feel like these crescent moons are speaking to Cancer and not Taurus, because the traditional association with the Chariot is Cancer. The horses being representations of the spirit, just as an archetype. Here are the conscious and the unconscious. So they're in 2 separate directions, so that's why the Chariot is here to steer them in the direction in unison, to be headed the same way, because you need these faculties to be aligned in order for you to reach the goal or to hit the target, right? The Chariot itself is a vehicle of the heart here, and it's represented with the color green again that we can see here. If you know anything about Cancer and the symbol of the 69 symbol, it's a representation of the vortex of the heart and the way that the heart works as a vortex of energy to magnetize a certain energy and to draw a certain energy in. That's how I interpret it. Okay? And in the High Council Oracle and Tarot deck, we have this beautiful woman being directed by the lion, which is a representation of the spirit here with Yehuda, and there's only one, which I love, which shows the singularity of the direction that you're going in. All right? And with the Libra theme, this is bringing the horses into balance, is what I can see here. Green is also associated with Venus, so that's also a theme that is here. And then in the High Council Oracle and Tarot deck, she is sitting in balance on top of the lion. Okay, and then the words here we have are confidence, and then overcoming obstacles, a journey. I'm going to be right back with another video because we're about to run out of time. But in the reverse, it's lack of direction and self-doubt. Okay?